Hi, and welcome to the Deep Dive, where I, the creator of the Deep End, will go more in depth about each of my shows. This is show number 5. I will go over the processes of making the show, performing the show, and re listening back to it. Then I will give my final thoughts. To start off is when I was making it. Now, at the beginning, I was actually really confident in this story. This was, once again, another one of my older stories that, if no one knew, these are completely original from my own mind. If someone else dares say I took their story, they are lying. That or we somehow created the exact same story, but I highly doubt that. So, with this one, I was like, okay, here's another one of my characters that I wanted to introduce in some kind of fashion one day to people. But over time, as I was kind of re looking it over, I was like, I'm not actually sure I like this as a story. I mean, I don't know, it just didn't feel as engaging as the one with Fragico. Not like Victor is like boring or anything, but I don't know, it just felt like a completely different tone than the other stories I've had up to this point. Um, and then I was doing a lot of voice training, specifically with Croton, DJ, and of course the new character, Xander. Xander's voice is, for now and for always will be, the biggest blight on this show because I still cannot get his voice right. I've tried different kind of voices that would have sounded much better, but when I was actually performing it, I just couldn't manage to do it. Speaking of performing, as I said before, I kept changing Xander's voice around. It was almost as if like I was forcing him to have an accent in a way, and just talking as him just kind of gave me lower energy. Like because it was pretty much all Xander the whole time, I just didn't have enough energy to keep up. And, once again, I'm still making mistakes. Now, even if these kind of finer tune in the later shows, it being the fifth show, it feels like by now these should be like an extremely rare occurrence. But it felt like I was still actively making them. Not on purpose, but it felt like rookie mistakes, essentially. When I was re listening back to these, first I noticed the voice amalgamation of DJ, Croton, and Xander. Just whenever I try to switch between all three of them, there are times where I'll either have a lower sounding DJ, a higher sounding Croton, or all three of them at the same time. And that's not even kind of getting into like, I noticed, like, well, not really noticed, this is just kind of something, I don't know if I would call it a complaint, but definitely more of something I would avoid in the future, is that it was extremely Xander heavy. Since Xander was a brand new character, I wanted to kind of use him as much as possible, but I feel like I used him way too much. I kind of went back into the old doing with Croton, where I would just kind of tell the story, not perform the story. So it didn't really feel as engaging, which is probably why I have issue with this story. It's that I feel like it could have been done more justice with visuals, but unfortunately, I don't have that kind of ability. Now, there were some good moments, like with the ending part, where DJ was acting all scared and stuff. That was pretty fun to do, but it's like these small blips compared to the entire show. They just aren't enough to carry, in my opinion. Now, for my ultimate final thoughts. Doing three characters in one is really hard. Like, it was already hard enough trying to establish DJ and Croton's voice so they sounded like two different people, but add one more that's like in the middle of them, it was almost impossible. I'm no like Seth MacFarlane or any other person who does like 50 characters in one show. I'm still an amateur. So, especially when one of my voices keeps sounding like other characters and I don't have visuals, it really, I guess, breaks the immersion. I don't know. I may or may not do some editing thing with like the poster in the back where like maybe I highlight their face so you know who's talking. But that sounds like a lot of work. Not like I wouldn't do it, but it's one of those things where I don't want to treat this as a final product. I want this treated as kind of a sample. And with that, that is the end of the deep dive. If you had a question I didn't answer in this, then feel free to drop it down into the comments. And then I will try to answer it as quick as I can. And with that, you have yourself a great day.